everyone, and welcome to another episode of the True Safety Podcast. I'm your host, Apolonia Rockwell, and holy smokes, guys, I have somebody so incredible, so influential, and so inspiring. Today we have Shain, and Shain, I'll have you pronounce your last name because I'm so nervous to butcher it. Tell us your first and last name properly.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Apolonia. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited for this podcast. Yes, my name is Shain Abdoelrahman. It's Arabic, a little long name.
Yes, and tell everyone where you are joining us from this morning. I'm not even sure if it's morning where you're at. Probably not. Where are you joining us from?
No, I'm from Suriname. That is a small country in South America, and it's
Oh my
already 1 o'clock
gosh.
here.
Well, what's awesome is that we have this technology that is allowing us to connect today. And
Yeah.
everyone, what is so special with Shain, other than being an entrepreneur, other than being a mama, other than all those things, she is running and she is the CEO and co-founder of a safety company. And the company is Heavy Construction Academy. Is that correct? Yes. And they
Yes, that's
specialize in
correct.
a whole bunch of stuff, heavy equipment training. I remember some conversations we had offline. You're doing HAZWOPER classes. You're teaching in all over the place in Texas and Florida, in the States. And it's been your guys are so busy, and I'm just so honored to talk to you this morning. But one thing, I just want to jump into it. No pause. No, I want to get into it. I want to know more about you and your story and how you got into safety. So tell us how, like, start from the beginning. Where did you grow up and what did that look like?
So, how did I start with safety? I was a little girl, and I grew up with heavy equipment. My grandfather had a contracting business. And as a little girl in the weekend, I was always so excited when he comes to pick me up and go to the work sites. I was always so amazed by all the equipment that I was working on site and what they were able to do. So that is how yeah, I grew up with heavy equipment. Never did I knew back then that I will have my career
Wow.
within the same industry. So 15 years ago, I was 23 years old then. I started working for a big contracting company. And I started at HR, and that company was working for multinational companies in Suriname, like the BHP Billiton, Alcoa, IM Gold, all the big mining companies. And as for us, safety was completely new because in Suriname, we do have a safety regulation, but it's so old and nobody is checking if you're doing the right things. So we had to start from the beginning. We had to start from scratch. And yes, all the big companies, they were helping us with training, some of the training, but some of the other training we had to learn ourselves. And we at HR, we had to make sure that all the employees had the right training, had the right medical screening. So, and we don't have any formal education in safety in Suriname. And I didn't had any formal education in safety. So I started from scratch reading all the regulation like OSHA, like ANSI, and we had to develop our own programs. So that is how I came in contact with safety from the multinational side. Yeah. And
I'm running through I'm imagining all this. You're HR. you're somehow wearing the safety hat, and you're somehow now responsible for your employees' well-being when it comes to protecting them on the job, making sure they're getting home to their families. And this is not what you signed up for. This is not what you know, thought about maybe your first day. And
No.
so tell us, what is the culture of safety like when you began this journey? I mean, so you're saying, this is something that we talked about offline, was that safety isn't, you know, there's no OSHA where you're at. There isn't a,
No, we don't have any regulations, and there are no penalties, so everyone is free to do what
oh my
they
God.
like. But for us it was different, because if you want to work with the multinationals, then you need to have safety in place, because for the multinationals, safety was the highest
Okay.
priority. So if you want or not, you need to have safety in place. So that's how we started. We started with a safety department. We had the HR, and the safety department were collaborating, and I was always so eager to learn. So even though it wasn't my responsibility, I was always present with the safety
Wow.
department. I was always eager to learn, to analyze
Mm-hmm.
incidents, to read a lot of the standards and international requirements about safety and training. And that is how, I developed the interest in
Wow.
safety.
And so at this time, so how I can also imagine these conflicting safety standards for the employees. On one hand, safety is not a federal requirement. You guys don't have OSHA. So these employees, maybe some of them at their previous jobs, I mean, they're wearing tennis shoes on the job site. I mean, now they're working for this company where still it's not federal mandated to abide by safety regulations, but your guys' clients are requiring you to be, you know, in compliance with their safety standards. So I could imagine employees being conflicted. But what was the
Yeah.
mindset of your average employee? Were they fighting safety? Like, did you see a lot of pushback, or was there a lot of people embracing safety? Was it 50-50? I mean, gosh, that was just so hard. I can imagine that being hard.
Yeah. Yeah, in the beginning, it was a
Okay.
challenge. It was a challenge because you now have to unlearn things.
Wow. Yeah.
People were, yeah, and that is so easy. It's difficult to unlearn things. It's easier to teach someone something completely new
Yeah.
than to unlearn things, because we were working with operators, truck drivers, who came from the field where there are no safety regulations. So it was a completely mind shift, and it took us years back then to yeah to come from one mindset to a totally different mindset. And
Wow.
yeah, it's still a challenge, because you every time you get new people, all the older people, they have it already in it, the safety mindset, but you still get new people every time you get new people, so it's a challenge. It
Mm-hmm.
still is a challenge.
I could see that. I mean,
Yeah.
just here where we're at in Colorado, where we have OSHA breathing down our necks, in the construction world, in the oil and gas world, and it's still hard at times to enforce safety with some employees, just because, just because the mindset of this will never happen to me. Why
Mm-hmm.
take these extra steps to be cautious when I grew up in this industry, and I've never seen or experienced an accident before. So it's just so far out of reach to imagine an accident happening to me. So we face that, and I can't imagine your challenges. What were some techniques? Like, what were some of the things that you did to start enforcing a safety program or a safety culture with people that never heard of safety regulations before? How did you go about that?
So I was at the HR, so I had good relationship with all the people, all the employees.
I see. Yeah.
So we started with a lot of training,
Okay.
a lot of awareness. We start with awareness, but also one-on-one conversations with them. In the beginning, we had a lot of incidents. So we every time an incident occurred, we had to talk with them like, did this happen? Why did this happen? What procedure you didn't follow? And what are the consequences if we go like this? If we go further like this, it will have a huge impact on the company,
Yeah.
like in cost. And if we cannot pay the cost anymore, we have to lay off people. So that is how I build a relationship with the people, explain to them what is the importance of safety, and not only for them but also for the company. So that is how I started,
Oh my gosh, that makes
with a lot of awareness, a lot of one-on-one conversations. I even did some research on the behavior side,
yeah.
to explain to them and to see what is the behavior side of this. Why are people behave like this? And then explain the results with them to them.
Oh my gosh, Shain, I hear so many gems that you're talking about here because it just makes sense, guys. I mean, for everyone listening, I think that what you've said echoes a lot of people's philosophy that have been successful in building great safety programs, is that starting with this simple relationship with the boots on the ground. And when you have employees that know that you care, that you really, really care about your well-being, their well-being, then it's easier to influence safety standards or regulations or policies when I hear you coming at the employee from two sides: the logical side of, hey, we've experienced these accidents before. You don't want this to happen to you. You don't want to impact your family. Here are the accidents we've had here. But then also the emotional side. You are building a relationship with them. You know about their family. You're asking questions about who they are as a person outside of work, just getting to know them as a human. And then, being able to impact change from there. But so obviously you have a passion for people, you start in HR here, get into safety. Now you're in charge of, you grow into this safety sensitive role. So then what happens from there, from you starting your own business? And tell us about how that journey started.
So it started when I finished my my master's in business administration.
Okay.
I then had the feeling that I can do more. I can have an impact on more people than only within a company.
Yeah.
So that's when I started writing my my business plan. And I had thought about it because it was something that I wanted to do before I even start working. I really wanted to be active with people, with their development, because I have a bachelor in educational design, and I knew I want to do something with educating people, helping them develop. And yes, that's how I started. I wrote my business plan that I want to have a training institute teaching others how to operate equipment effectively, so they can have more return on their investment. And on the other side, if you operate equipment, safety is the most important part of it. So how I combine both things, so the technical part of operating equipment and safety, because you cannot operate an equipment without the safety part of it.
Yeah.
And so that is how I started in 2017.
Okay.
And now I currently work for the multinationals. We work for the multinationals in Suriname. I teach their employees on safety. I do their onboarding. So all the new employees that's going to mine site, they come to us and we teach them in their safety regulations.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm just getting goosebumps. You're so inspiring. And I do remember that our offline conversations, the mining side of things too. So is it MSHA, like how we would refer to as MSHA training? Is that the same type of training for the mine sites that you worked on? Okay.
Yes.
So a lot of MSHA training. I mean, and then what is that like? What is that like as far as typical mining companies? Are most of them, are most contractors abiding by what OSHA would deem safe, or are people going above OSHA compliance? Are there still a lot of companies you see not following OSHA regulations?
So the multinational companies that are working in Suriname, they are American companies and Canadian, and safety is their highest priority. So if you want to work in the mining companies, you need to adhere to their regulations. So what I have seen is that you can see a huge difference between the mining companies, the multinational companies, and Surinamese companies.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but if you want to work for them, if you want to be competitive and work for them, you need to have all the requirements in place. So, you start with your mindset, a lower mindset about safety, but along the way, when you start working into the mine, in the mine site, then you see that their level of understanding safety will go up also.
I see. And what about, I mean, how common is it that where you live, I mean, how common is it that there still are fatalities, incidents, I remember you mentioned like people working like in tennis shoes still, like, is that on construction projects, on oil and gas projects? So it's like, is that common where you're at still, or is it becoming less and less common? Okay.
It's common. You will not see this at mine sites, at multinationals, at companies that work for the multinationals. You will not see that. But all the other companies, they don't know a lot of about safety, and because there are no penalties for them, no one coming in from the government side to see, hey, are you working according to some safety standards or not? So they don't have to adhere to some safety rules. So there is a huge difference, and especially because I work as a third party with these companies.
Yeah,
you can see a huge. When I'm driving in the city, you can see some people climbing on buildings without a harness of all equipment. Yes, I see a lot of strange things. The safety mindset of other companies that aren't working for multinationals. Yeah, it's not there yet.
Wow. Is how close is the industry to adopting something like OSHA? Or, I mean, is that even conversation that there will soon be a federal mandate? I guess it wouldn't be a federal mandate. It's so different where you're at, but is there going to be a mandate anytime soon for these standard safety practices? Because my mind is so blown away right now because I'm thinking and I'm sure you feel the same way. I mean, when you read
Yes.
OSHA regulations, you're probably thinking these are the bare basics. I mean, it's not even really anything special to be in OSHA compliance. Like that's just the basic. And our goals as safety trainers, as safety consultants, I know you feel the same way. We're trying to take companies beyond OSHA compliance and really into the mindset of I want to be safe, whatever that takes for me today. And then also keep my brother's keeper, the coworkers that I'm working alongside, keeping them safe too. So do you feel like it's coming close that safety will be a mandate?
So I know that a few years ago, I think 2 years ago, they were talking about it, that there will be OSHA and specific regulations with regards to safety working in these companies. What are required? What are your employees required to have as training competencies?
Yeah.
But yeah, the conversation started, but after that, you hear nothing. No, so
Wow.
I'm also amazed when I go in some companies of if I'm driving on the road, I see some things and I'm also amazed because my whole mindset is already, I'm so safety minded already. So
Yeah.
for me it's also I have to think twice and look twice if if that is really happening. Yeah.
Did I really just see what I thought I just saw? Was someone really on top of a roof, on top of a scaffold with no fall protection on? I mean, I know that you're so people focused, and I know your heart is called to serve your community, make a huge impact in your community. And outside of that, I mean, all the work you have, employees traveling, all over the place to train.
Mhm.
And so, I know you're up to big things. What are you excited about right now? What projects, are you really excited about, looking forward? What's the next thing for you and your business?
So we, from the beginning, when I started with training, with safety, it was all about the gold mining, construction and gold mining. And currently, I think 2 years ago, there was a huge discovery of oil in Suriname. So we will see a huge shift now from gold mining to oil and gas. And as
Wow.
a provider of safety training, we have to prepare ourselves to that.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
the oil and gas, especially the offshore
Yeah.
part of this is completely new for Suriname. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about what is coming, how we can prepare for that, what expertise do we need to get in, because we don't have the expertise in house currently. So yeah, that is the next thing, to see how we will provide for that industry.
My goodness. Well, first and foremost, I mean, your community is so I think that they're blessed to have a company like you who understands that this is a people game. Yes, we're safety professionals, but at the end of the day, safety is just safety. And without the people side of it, I think that safety regulations, safety mandates can fall on deaf ears if it's
Yeah.
not told to by the right person, by the way it's communicated. I've always
Mm-hmm.
believed that we can't make a big enough impact by just being a safety cop and by saying, "So
This
you
and
need to
that.
follow this regulation and this." Yeah, because OSHA says so. Like, that's not how
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be motivating and
And
inspiring change. You believe that it's people first, and then we'll figure the rest out. And so they're so lucky to have a resource like you that can really influence the reason why, the whole reason why, like explaining the why behind the safety regulations. That's
safety,
awesome. and
yes.
and that kind of leads us into our partnership. I wasn't even thinking about making that an announcement, but hey, we gonna make the announcement on the podcast here, is that
So,
how we yeah, how we got connected is we've been following each other on social media, and one thing led to another. And with the oil and gas boom that Suriname is going to be facing, you and I have connected. We are oil and gas experts here in the States. And so for right now, we'll be able to provide safe land training, H2S training. We provide those classes virtually, and you will be able to offer those classes to your students if they are wanting to take, safe land and
yes.
kind of that awareness level. So tell us about that. What has been the talk? What is the excitement? I know you're excited about this oil and gas boom that's your community's about to experience, but what about the employees? Are they excited? Are they scared? They're not trained? Like, this is all so new. So
New.
I don't know, what
Yes,
is everyone talking about?
that is completely true. It is a new thing for Suriname. So we have thought about it, and we thought about starting with the awareness level. Get Because there so many services will be needed in Suriname,
Hmm.
and services, so many things like offering food on the rigs. So there is so
Yes.
much opportunity, but I know, because I have already experienced how it is to work with multinationals, and the new multinationals coming in will not be any different. So if you want to be competitive, if you want to be able to provide your services, you need to have your safety in place. And that is what we think we can provide them. Help companies understand the importance of safety. What do you need to have in place to get your company safety ready? To be
Hmm.
able
Hmm.
to 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 work with them. So that is the first
Hmm.
step. We will educate people on safety. What is the importance? What kind of training is needed for your employees, and what do you need to have in place? That is how we think that we will start, and then from that side we will go further. What expertise? Because we don't have the expertise in house. That's why we collaborated with True Safety to provide them more specialized training in oil and gas.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm so excited. And most importantly, I'm excited to work with you. I'm excited to work with somebody who's brilliant, who's passionate about people. And I mean, I love what you're saying. It's just, you are there to help companies not only bring their workers home safely, but
Yes.
to take their company to
On the next
to go
level.
to the next level. You're
Mm-hmm.
there to educate them and get them ready, get them competitive to go to the next level as, as business owners. You're able to help them really get, like you said, safety ready and beyond. So that's going to be an incredible journey to watch. And you're right, there's going to be so many opportunities for contractors.
Mm-hmm.
And with opportunity, probably where your mind goes to is, my heart goes out to the souls who are putting their lives on the line to make it to make a paycheck, right? And
Yes.
without the safety training awareness, without the competency, the knows of the simple hazards on an oil and gas project, I mean, people's lives are at risk. And it is a high risk job. It is
Yes.
serious that employees are trained. So no one is in better hands than with you. So, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this. Well, I have taken way past your time that you've allocated with me. I can't believe it's already been almost 40 minutes.
So
I can't, I
that
already
went
knew that the time
fast.
would fly. Yeah, time
It
went by
went fast.
fast. And I guarantee everyone listening, this will be a part 2. There will be a part 2, a part 3, and we will have another podcast because we all want to listen to your journey. I'm invested. I want to know your wins, your challenges along the way as oil and gas becomes bigger and booming, where you're at, because this will be awesome and I think that we'll be able to share our experiences on what has worked for us and what hasn't worked.
Yes.
Working with these oil and gas service providers, so we could, give you guys some insight on what we've experienced here. But do you have any final thoughts, any final words for the listeners today?
Yeah, we are also very excited to collaborate with True Safety with you. We share the same passion. That's why I started following you also on social media, and that's how we connected. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have huge plans to go further with safety. Safety is it's a calling. I say every time I say it, safety
Yeah.
is my calling, and educating people on safety. I feel so, yeah, like it's my job to do that, because I had the chance to learn that from other companies, from other multinationals, and I want to provide that also to other companies, that they can educate their people to work safe, to be competitive in this world, to ensure that, yeah, that everyone goes home safely. That is the main goal of safety. Yeah, and I'm so looking
Well,
forward.
yes, I'm one of your guys' biggest cheerleaders. I'm here to root you guys on. I know you're up to big things. I know you have a strong calling on your life to serve, and watching you impact thousands, eventually millions of lives is going to be an incredible journey to watch you on. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
talking with us today. Yes. And everyone, stay tuned. What we'll do with this podcast is we'll link all of your contact information, the business website. If people want to, ask questions or just get in contact with you directly, we're going to provide you with those links. And everyone, thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk with you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Apolonia. Thank you, everyone, for listening. It was fun.
We'll talk soon.